What's going on, everybody? Timothy's back. The opening scripture today is going to be James 21:15. I'm sorry, it's going to be James 21:5. And basically, it's going to tap into delaying your gratification, about the man who's diligent and waits his turn will receive his crown forever. And it's going to come from the heavens above. So the reason I like talking about things like that is because for the most part, in 2026, we're living in a very microwave society. You know, right now everybody wants to get everything instantaneously. That's why a lot of people are hopping on those Ozempic, taking steroids, TRT. Doing all these scams and trying to finesse the government with taxes, going to these gurus talking about like, oh, it don't matter. They'll never catch me and all this other stuff. But everything you do will eventually be brought back to you into the forefront. So this mindset of, oh, I'll just worry about that later. Okay, go ahead, worry about it later. And when it comes at you and there's no way out, then what? Getting locked up, losing your freedom over a few $1,000s is not worth it. All right. Y'all know one of my favorite commandments, thou shalt not covet the neighbor's goods. Just because all these people are out here pretending to be millionaires and living this glamorous life, even if they really are getting it the right way and they're doing it through the eyes of God and things like that, that may not be God's plans for you. So not everybody was meant to be born rich or get rich at all, but just being comfortable and reaching eternal happiness is the most important thing. So a couple of things I want to address today. All right. It's going to fall over, pretty much the finance, fitness, and family category, really, when you think about it. Sometimes I get asked, like, how did I get so shredded and things like that. And, like my weight loss journey. Well, first and foremost, I had to change my mindset. I apologize for all the cars back here. But first and foremost, I had to change my mindset. And the mindset is basically locking in. And when you lock in, you have to have, shout out to Ghostface. Um, when you locking in, the most important thing is understanding the assignment, and it's the benefits and results that we are after, that we're all after, right? Nobody wants to work 40 hours a week to receive no paycheck, right? So you're going to work your 40 hours to get your paycheck, and if there's overtime available, you may work overtime to get an even bigger paycheck, right? So when you understand the assignment, like, hey, the goal is to be healthy, not just physically on the outside, but internally as well. You know what I mean? Because when you get in killer shape, your hemoglobin is good, your blood work is good, your testosterone is high, ladies, your estrogen is at good levels. You have a better chance of having a baby. Your fertility rate is good. Your sex drive is good. I mean, everything works perfectly when you are in the best shape of your life. But unfortunately, everybody wants a magic shortcut now. They'll watch some video of somebody who, took a bunch of steroids and TRT and Ozempic and all these other things to attain a body, within 6 to 8 weeks. Or they'll see some Hollywood person, oh, he did a 4-month transformation, for this role, and we'll say Spider-Man or something like that. Okay, well, you got to understand that these are celebrities with millions of dollars, and it's part of the company's budget, the production team's budget, to hire the best trainers, the best dietitians, and the best doctors to get these people in killer shape in a very speedy amount of time. And it's really not sustainable nor healthy. Jake Gyllenhaal, we all know he's done different type of transformations as well as Tom Hardy, and they both already said in multiple interviews that it's not healthy to keep doing that to your body. Getting big, getting small, getting lean, getting big again, back to lean, back to small, back to big. Like that shit ain't shit's for the birds. Uh, so everybody's body type is different. Everybody's genetic makeup is different, and everybody's process is different, right? Yeah, there are going to be some people your age, 21, 25, multi-millionaires, right? Hey, so be it. Uh, all you got to do is just lock in, figure out what works for you. Starting your own business, investing in real estate, cryptocurrency, the stock market. Even if you get a secondary job and to supplement your income, it's like it's a few people I've met and talked to that when I bring up secondary jobs or side hustles like Uber Eats and things like that, they like cringe. They like, oh yeah, I ain't getting no second job or whatever. Okay, well, stay broke then. You go live paycheck to paycheck. That's your business. That's your prerogative. But uh, so where I'm going with all of this, when it comes to your finances, create a spreadsheet. Get a spreadsheet, start tracking every last dollar that you spend, or if you want to put it in your phone, in your notes, or even if you want to use the apps. Like I know some banks, they do like track my spending, and it'll tell you, what you've done for that month, and start figuring out where are you spending the most of your money, and how much is coming in and how much is going out, and think of a sustainable amount to save. You know, fella, especially like in your 20s, that's your grind season right there. Fuck all that partying and going out and all this other stuff. Now, I would never tell somebody not to travel. If you're in a position to fill up them passport stamps, by all means, fill them. You know what I mean? Uh, memories gonna save your life. And memories is something that you can hold on to forever. Jewelry, Jordans, all that shit. That's frivolous spending. That's what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it off the top of my head, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Materialistic. There we go. All this materialistic shit. Don't worry about it, man. Because at the end of the day, y'all even see it. Y'all will even say it. Y'all will go on Facebook or Instagram and be like, real billionaires, multimillionaires. They don't even wear all this name brand stuff and all this jewelry. They're very humble. And yet, as soon as you get a few dollars, you do the complete opposite. You go spend it on a bunch of bullshit. When you're trying to look rich, you're only doing that to impress broke people who don't have shit. And even then, in the back of their mind, they like, this dude dumb as hell. Why would he came across 5,000, and instead of putting 2,000 up in a CD, another 2,000 up in a trust fund, and keeping 1,000 for himself to pay off some debts, he went and bought some dumb shit. So a lot of them people be laughing at y'all, man. You don't believe me? Keep doing it. All right. And when I talk about the family aspect, it's the same with relationships. You may not get the girl you want immediately off rip. I mean, it don't work like that. Now, I'm not saying chase her and be thirsty and kiss her ass or anything like that. But she ain't interested. She ain't interested. But fellas, y'all see the new wave that we're living in right now. All right, women aren't interested in dudes that's about to do something. They're waiting at the finish line now. So if you really want the woman of your dreams, more than likely she's at the finish line, which means you need to do what? Fix your relationship with God. Make sure your spirit aligns with a God. Get your finances in order. I'm not saying you got to be a multimillionaire, but pay off your student loans, pay off your credit cards, pay off all your debts. Put some money in your savings. Put a little money up in an investment account, whether that be a 401k or a CD or something like that. Ain't nothing wrong with any of that. Take your time to build your finances. Get your credit right. Get that Amex credit card. Go out and buy some, like, not buy nice shit like materialistic stuff, but reward yourself. Take that trip. Get that new PS5. Do whatever. Take care of yourself first. Then of course, getting in shape, right? It is what it is, fellas. We are living in an image-based society, a looks-based society. Everybody cares about how you look and how you present yourself. So, not everybody's gonna be 6'4". You can't control that, but you can control your skincare routine. You can control your how often you go to the dentist. Hold on. You can control how often you go to the dentist and fix your grill. You can grow you a little beard if you got to use minoxidil like I did. To grow a little something. That's fine. Fix your hairline if you got to. And of course, get in shape. You got all these things going for yourself. I'm telling you, fellas, you can be a below average guy and go to slightly above average just by doing those things. If you're an average guy, you can go to above average. If you're slightly above average, you're going to go, you're going to skyrocket. I never say anybody is a 10 because, in somebody's eyes, you're not always going to be up to par, and you really shouldn't give a fuck no way. But, unfortunately, a lot of y'all care way too much about what people think and their view of you. The only person you're living for is the creator. And of course, there's people you love. Maybe, you got kids or a wife or, parents or whatever that you want to impress. I get all that. But as far as like relationship goes, if your partner can't accept you for who you are and what you bring to the table at that particular time in your life, it's not worth it. So just think about all these things. And in a nutshell, what I really want to hone on with this video, I'm walking up and down hills, man. I don't care how much in shape you are, you're gonna be out of breath doing that shit. But I figure I get 10,000 steps in while I talk to y'all. But the theme of this video is basically delaying your gratification, because I see too many people here on and here out trying to find magic shortcuts. It don't work. All right. If it was so easy to be rich, everybody would be rich. If it was so easy to be in shape, everybody would be in shape. If it was so easy to get the man or woman of your dreams, everybody would be happily married with the family of their life. All right. Doesn't work like that. Also, y'all have to live in reality. Let's look at, fellas, I give you a prime example. Like here in Metro Atlanta, to be in the top 10% of earners, you got to be making like I think 160,000 a year, somewhere around there. So those of you who are making 160,000 plus a year, you're already in the top 10% earners. You know, if you're in Metro Atlanta, then of course you can do the demographics of where you live and see what the top 10% of owners make. You know, if you're in the middle of Arkansas, you know, top 10% owners might be 70,000. So if you're making 80, 90, you're already above the top 10% of earners. So financially, you're already doing better than 90% of the people in your area. Also, look at the data. Look at the data when it comes to fitness. I know it's kind of hard to do an exact accurate number, but I do know that they say most websites, credible websites and sources say men are like at 15% body fat or lower. It's only like 10% of guys in the United States that are at 15%. Then if you start getting 12%, 10%, you're like in the top 5%. So you're gonna be you everywhere you go, you're gonna be in shape in 95%, anywhere from 85. No, I'm sorry, from 90 to like 98% of men, depending on your body fat percentage and your muscle mass and stuff like that. And if you don't believe me, like the next time you go to Walmart, next time you go to Target, like a big place where there's multiple people in there and you're constantly seeing people come in and out, take a good look at the guys. And ladies, let's go for you too. If you want to look at some of these guys and see how many got big stomachs compared to the six pack. I mean, obviously you're not gonna know up front if he got a six pack, depending on if he got jackets and hoodies on. But you can tell who got flatter stomachs to the big stomachs. You can tell who got the chiseled jawline versus the fat face. So if you don't believe me, look, you do your own research. Also, I'm not gonna really say the car they drive really matters, because there are some humble guys out there who make $200,000-300,000 a year and they'll drive a Kia or a Toyota Camry. My little brother's a prime example. Make good money, got his own house, no apartment, and he's humble. He has a paid off Toyota that he's proud of having. But guess what? Whatever he want to go buy, he can go get. So, everybody plays by different rules. Some, they like to flex a little bit. It's just in their personality, or may it be from some insecurities growing up without money or whatever. So I'm not saying that you can't reward yourself, but you got to be careful with that. Make sure all your ducks are in a row. So in a nutshell, to cap everything up, if it takes 6 to 8 months to get in shape, so be it. All right, the time is going to pass you up anyway. So why sit around 6 to 8 months playing video games, feeling sorry for yourself, and just expecting shit to just work? If you decide to hop on Ozempic, go right ahead. But when you get all that loose skin because you lose 30 pounds way too fast, and you got a sunken in face that don't look healthy, then you got bigger problems. Now you're gonna look in the mirror, see all that loose skin, and don't even want to fucking go to the beach. You're still wearing t-shirts, you're still wearing long shorts and shit like that, because you don't want the world to see all that, right? So why do all that when you can just take the 6 to 8 months to lock in, eat healthy, eat less, uh, confront your emotional connection to food, alcohol, drugs, and other things. And I'm sorry, I'm staring at something. Y'all know how I am. But yeah, you cut all that stuff out and you just stay consistent for 6 to 8 months. I promise you, the results that you're looking for will be there. Same thing with money. Go 6 to 8 months without taking no trips, without buying nothing extravagant, and just start putting your money up and watch it grow. Watch your bank account get bigger and bigger. As long as you're going up, that's better than it going down. Same thing, and lastly, like I said, when it comes to relationships, one, don't chase friends. You know what I mean? If people don't want to be in your life because they genuinely care about you and want to just come up with you and be in your world, cut them out. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people got hidden agendas. They want to be your friend because they might admire your work ethic, but they're trying to get all the secrets without putting in work. They might want to, borrow money from you or whatever. They might want to hit the gym with you, but they're not serious about hitting the gym and shit like that. Like all that stuff, man. And then, of course, when it comes to relationships, again, fellas, there's nothing wrong with being nice to a woman. There's nothing wrong with liking a woman or anything like that, getting flowers for her and stuff like that. But just do it to somebody who you believe will actually reciprocate and show love and appreciation. I've seen a lot of posts on Valentine's Day. Women complaining about guys wanting something. Hey, if she got to argue with you about shit like that, don't even waste your time, bro. It's more women in America than it is men. So you have the abundance, and as long as you're fixing your relationship with God, your finances, your body, becoming family oriented with the people around you, whether it be work, family, friends, or your actual relatives. And of course, if you got your fashion up, y'all know the 5F module, you're gonna find another girl probably just like that. So don't waste your time out here, fellas. Time waits on no man. That's talked about biblically as well. I might talk about that in the next video. But other than that, y'all heard the message today from Timothy. Just lock in, delay your gratification. Everything you want will come. I promise.